When you think of the ultimate ocean predator, you probably picture a great white shark, with rows of razor-sharp teeth and immense crushing power. But what if I told you, there is something in the water that is 100 times deadlier? A silent ghost, completely invisible to the human eye. And a single, accidental touch from it means death in less than 3 minutes. Welcome back to Animal Detective. Today, we are investigating the sea wasp, the most venomous creature on planet Earth. It doesn't have jaws, it doesn't have claws, and it's made almost entirely of water. Yet, this glass-like anomaly carries enough poison to take the lives of 60 adult humans in seconds. And unlike a shark, you may never know it was there, until it's already too late. The terrifying part is this. You don't have to travel to some remote, uncharted island, to encounter this nightmare. Imagine a perfect vacation. Warm sun, soft sand, and your children playing safely in the shallow water. But just inches away, hidden in the gentle waves, sits an absolute monster. Millions of unsuspecting people swim in waters, where these deadly jellyfish appear every single year. Science classifies these predators under the class Cubozoa, the box jellyfish. While there are 51 known species of these squared phantoms drifting through the oceans, most are relatively harmless. But one specific branch of this family tree evolved into a flawless killing machine. Chironex fleckeri, commonly known as the sea wasp. They rule the warm coastal waters of the Indo-Pacific, from the crowded tourist resorts of Thailand and the Philippines, to the notorious shores of northern Australia. But changing ocean currents are actively spreading the danger. Today, beachgoers face these phantoms along the coastlines of Florida and Hawaii, where the microscopic irukandji box jellyfish slips through protective nets. Meanwhile, shifting tides bring toxic stingers into the Mediterranean Sea, terrorizing beaches from Spain to Italy. No matter where you vacation, the threat is closer than you think. To understand why this creature is worse than a shark attack, we must look at its weapons under a microscope. The sea wasp doesn't bite. It shoots. Dangling from the four corners of its pale blue, translucent bell are up to 60 bootlace-like tentacles that can stretch up to 10 feet long. And a single touch unleashes an invisible barrage. Every single centimeter of these shifting lines is packed with over 5,000 spring-loaded biological syringes, called cnidocytes. Inside each cell, a whip-like hollow tubule lies coiled under high osmotic pressure, waiting for a mechanical or chemical trigger. When a swimmer brushes against them, the cell lid pops open, seawater rushes in, and it triggers one of the fastest biomechanical processes in all of nature. In less than a millionth of a second, faster than a speeding bullet, millions of microscopic barbed harpoons punch through human tissue, forcing the world's most lethal venom deep into the bloodstream. It is a mass firing of chemical weapons executed on a microscopic scale, and even a baby jellyfish the size of a pencil eraser possesses this terrifying power. The pain is instantaneous and blinding. Victims describe it as being branded with red-hot irons, or dipped in boiling acid. The agony is so overwhelming that many swimmers go into immediate shock. Some victims remain fully conscious, as their heart begins to fail, drowning before they can even make it back to the shore. The history of marine biology is filled with tragic files, but one legendary case file stands out. In the waters of Mauritius, a diver named Ian McCormack was stung multiple times by these transparent killers. He watched his body rapidly paralyze, fell into a state of total cardiovascular collapse, and was clinically dead for over 10 minutes, before doctors miraculously revived him, using emergency interventions. His testimony confirmed the ultimate horror of the toxin. Once inside, the venom acts like a targeted strike team. It is a complex cocktail of toxins that attacks your nervous system, skin cells, and most importantly, your heart. The poison instantly disrupts the electrical signals that keep you alive, locking the heart muscle in a state of permanent contraction. Within just 2 to 3 minutes, a healthy adult can suffer complete cardiac arrest. This is why time is your ultimate enemy. How did a creature this bizarre become the ultimate global assassin? It bypasses every rule of biology. Jellyfish are older than trees, older than sharks, and roamed the deep oceans over 500 million years, before the first dinosaur ever walked the earth. They have survived all 5 major mass extinctions in our planet's history. They have no brain, no bones, no blood. They are 95% water, held together by a translucent, gel-like substance called mesoglea, making them completely transparent. Yet, this brainless phantom is a perfect hunter. Their life cycle is equally strange. They begin as larval ephori, looking like tiny, pulsating flowers in the sea, before growing into their adult, umbrella-shaped forms. And their proportions can be staggering. While the sea wasp relies on pure chemical lethality, its relative, the lion's mane jellyfish, grows tentacles that extend more than 100 feet long, making it longer than a blue whale. Instead of a brain, the box jellyfish relies on an unbelievable sensory system. Along the edge of its bell, it carries 24 fully functional eyes. They can detect obstacles, track movement, and even actively steer around objects. It is an ancient, invisible stalker with 24 eyes, and a weapon, designed for perfect execution. Despite the impressive power, hidden in their tentacles, these transparent monsters are not invincible. A few elite ocean creatures have completely cracked their defense systems. Giants like the leatherback sea turtle, and the massive ocean sunfish, view jellyfish not as a threat, but as a casual snack. Their thick skin acts as impenetrable armor against the venomous harpoons. To prevent the slippery, gelatinous bodies from escaping once engulfed, the leatherback turtle evolved backward-pointing spines, lining its mouth and esophagus, while the sunfish relies on recurved teeth, hidden deep behind its cheeks. Even more bizarre are the thieves of the ocean. Small, agile fish use the deadly tentacles as a moving protective reef, darting between the lethal lines, without ever touching them. Meanwhile, tiny slipper lobster larvae actively hitch a ride on the jellyfish's bell, slowly snacking on the host's body, while preserving their own energy. But the ultimate criminal mastermind is the nudibranch, a specialized sea slug, covered in protective slime. The nudibranch eats the jellyfish's stinging cells alive, prevents them from firing, and physically transfers the unfired weapons into its own specialized body sacs. The sea slug literally steals the jellyfish's guns, to use them against its own predators. Believe it or not, the first armor against the world's deadliest jellyfish wasn't military technology or advanced science. It was women's pantyhose. In the early days of coastal safety, lifeguards discovered that a thin layer of nylon acted like a bulletproof vest. These lethal biological harpoons are incredibly short, they simply cannot penetrate the fabric. Today, professional divers still use full-body lycra suits, based on this exact trick. But if you are unprotected and a sting happens, you have less than 180 seconds to act. Panic will pump the venom faster. First. Pour, don't rub. Never rub the wound with sand or a towel, as this forces remaining cells to fire more poison. Crucially, these microscopic harpoons can continue to fire, even after the jellyfish is dead, and washed onto the beach, so lingering tentacles must be removed, with extreme care using tweezers. Second. Forget the myths. Do not use fresh water, alcohol, or urine. This is a critical error. Fresh water alters the osmotic pressure outside the cell, causing the remaining weapons to instantly explode and inject more venom. Urinating on the sting, a common folk remedy, can actually cause a massive secondary wave of poisoning, depending on the chemical composition of the urine. Instead, flood the area with ordinary household vinegar for 30 seconds. Vinegar acts like a chemical kill switch, neutralizing the unfired weapons. The ocean is full of beautiful mysteries, but today you learned that the deadliest predator in the ocean doesn't have teeth, doesn't have claws, and you might never even see it. Yet, humans might one day benefit from this terrifying sting. Scientists are currently working to manipulate these microscopic needles, which are barely 3% the size of a standard syringe, to deliver life-saving medicine directly into human cells without any pain. Until then, stay safe, check the beach flags, and never underestimate the power of nature. If you want to uncover more dark secrets of the animal kingdom, hit the subscribe button and join our investigation team. Until next time, stay curious.